Hello guys, we are back. Sorry, came at like 8 o'clock at this time. Sorry about that, I was just pretty busy. Okay, we have the book. Okay, where were we? I don't know why chapter 10 finishes there, because we're about to finish it right now. Okay? So, yeah. This will be chapter 10 of Finish. Sea Wing, they're not too recent to be monoceros from yesterday, and you can see all 4 feet here, so it's not doomed. Oh, Clay said. Feeling foolish, of course. There are prints leaving but not coming back, Tsunami said, her voice rising with excitement. Maybe she went out looking for us this morning. If she's still away, this is our best chance to get the others out. She started running down the riverbank, following the line of prints to where it began. Come on, Clay, hurry. Clay raced after her. The tracks led right to the tumble of boulders. When they climbed up onto the large rocks, they could see down into the dark tunnel in the side of the ravine. It was almost entirely hidden from view unless you looked from the right angle. This is it, Snowy whispered. Why didn't she hide her tracks better? Clay worried. What if it's a trap? It's not, Tsunami said confidently. Kestrel doesn't know we're coming back for the others. She doesn't think like that. If she were one of us, she'd escape and leave everyone else behind without a second thought. That sounded true to Clay. Kestrel never believed that dragons could keep their word or care about other dragons. She was in a hurry to find us, that's all, Snowy pointed out. Clay glanced up at the sky anxiously. If Kestrel hadn't bothered to be cautious, she must be really angry with them. Tsunami lowered herself into the tunnel and Clay slid down beside her. He was warm enough now to make fire, so he breathed a small burst of flame to give them a glimpse of the tunnel ahead. They edged forward as Tsunami's scales began to glow. The tunnel took a sharp right, then a left, then went down at a steep angle for a few steps, but soon it straightened out, took them around another corner, and ended at an enormous gray boulder. My heart thumped hard, and it's just, they'd really found it. He was looking at his prison from the outside. Oh, never mind. That was chapter 11. Whoops. Chapter 10 part IDK was actually chapter 11 part IDK. So yeah, chapter 12. That was weird. Snowy reared up on her back legs and began running her talons along the walls. Look for something that'll move the boulder, she said. Clay breathed another burst of fire at the wall on his side. It looked like ordinary flat stone with a few fissures running from the ceiling to the floor. He scraped his claws through the cracks. Nothing happened except his claws tingled painfully. I'm still here. He tried sniffing around the boulder, then shoved it, but it wouldn't move any more than it had on the other side. I hope Starflight's right, he said, pushing away the sinking feeling in his stomach. I hope we really can open it from this side. We can't, Sonai said fiercely. There'll be a lever or something. She backed away a few steps, peering at the top of the boulder. Or magic, Clay said. What if it's a magic word or some kind of talisman we don't have? Snowy stared at the boulder for a moment, frowning, then shook her head. They'd need an animus dragon to enchant it. And who even knows if those ever existed in the first place? I think they do, actually. The only thing Clay remembered about the lesson on magic and animus dragons was that they had power over objects. He remembered that because Starflight spent the rest of the day sticking his nose in the air and insisting that Nightwings were far more magically powerful than any mythical and animus dragons. If they're so great, why don't the Nightwings live somewhere mysterious where no one can find them? Clay had asked. Easy, Starflight said in his loftily. It's because we have all these special powers. We don't want to make regular dragons feel inferior, even though they are, his expression pulled. Clay snorted. Special powers like what? He'd asked. Starflight had answered, irritated. Telepathy, fragmentation, invisibility. Hello? You don't have invisibility, Clay had argued. I mean, you're a black dragon. You're just hard to see in the shadows. That's not a power. I'd be invisible too if I were lying in the mud puddle. Well, yeah, Starflight had said. We can appear out of nowhere in the dark of night, swooping down as if the sky had just fallen on you. He spread his wings majestically. Still not a power, Clay had said. That's just you guys being creepy. It's not creepy, Starflight had cried, his voice rising. See how much pages we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enough chapter 13, then we're in part 2. Okay, we might be able to finish it. I'm not sure. If it's magnificent and imposing, he'd stopped and taken a deep breath. Besides, we're the only ones with visions of the future, so there. Well, eyesight until the Nightwings come down off the clouds. All we have is rumors and a mumbo-jumbo prophecy. That could mean anything. Then Clay had draped his nose off the rim, off the ledge, and peered across at Starflight. I mean, it's not like you've got any special mind powers other than being way too smart. I'll have powers eventually. Starflight had huffed. Maybe it's something Nightwings develop when they're older. When we're older. You're supposed to be studying, not making fun of me. I wasn't making fun of you, Clay had protested. It was true. He'd been trying to distract Starflight from studying. He threw, but of course that never worked for long. No Clay scraped at the floor under the boulder. He actually missed Starflight more than that. He was worried about him. How had Kestrel reacted when she couldn't find Clay and Tsunami or Glory? She wouldn't hurt Starflight or Sunny, would she? Suddenly his claws caught on something. He flattened himself to the stone floor and peered underneath the boulder. A long, sturdy stick was jammed under the rock, holding it in place. Here, he whispered to Tsunami. He wrapped his talons around the stick and tried to yank it free. After a few tries, he realized it wouldn't come loose, but it did move from side to side. He tried sliding it sideways, and the boulder began to roll. He stopped quickly and looked at Tsunami. What if Webbs and Dune are waiting for us? Clay asked. They can't stop us, not all 5 of us, not if we all fight. The only way they kept us in was by blocking the way out. Once it's open, we'll all be free. Tsunami let a long breath. All right, Clay said, gritting his teeth. Let's do this. He shoved the stick as hard as he could. The boulder slowly rolled aside with a soft scraping sound. The central cave came into view, and a shiver ran along Clay's tail and at how strange it looked from the outside. A forlorn little shape was huddled by the river, trailing in the water. She turned as the boulder moved, and her gray-green eyes went wide. Shh! Snowman hissed quietly, bounding across the cave toward her. Sunny leaped up at the same moment, and threw her wings open. She pressed her front talons to the snout, beaming. You did it, she whispered. Clay glanced at the tunnel that led to the Guardian's cave. Even if Tsunami was right about that, Webbs and Dune couldn't stop them. He didn't want to stick around and find out. Where are the others? He asked quietly. I'll get Starflight, Sunny said, heading for the study cave. Glory, I don't know. He glanced up at the stalactites. Clay felt a stab of worry. Was Glory all right? What if something had happened to her while she was camouflaged? Would she have stayed invisible? What if she had fallen off a stalagmite or flown into an outcropping and hurt herself? What if right here, a voice whispered in his ear, soft wings brushed his, and Gloria's long shape shimmered into view. Her scales shifted from gray and black to a warm golden orange, flecked with dark blue. You're all right, Clay said, in his relief. He twined his tail around hers without thinking. She tensed, but she didn't pull away immediately like she normally would. Instead, she nugged him with her elegant snout. Of course I am, she said. I would have been fine on my own, you know. Perhaps she was wings droop because she added, but thank you for doing insanely dangerous things for me anyway. Anytime, Clay said happily. Glory stepped back and nodded at where Starflight was, staggering out of the tunnel from the study cave. Kestrel was pretty furious, she said. I just had to listen to her from my hiding place. Those two got the brunt of it. Already on either side, Starflight was limping that he'd been beaten or burned or terribly injured by Kestrel. Then he realized that Starflight was moving oddly because he was carrying a giant sack of scrolls on his back. "Oh no, you don't," Tsunami said, pulling it away from him. "You don't need these, and you've already read them all 8,000 times. You might need them," Starflight protested. Taking it back. "They'll tell us what's safe to eat and all of the different tribal customs and how to fly in bad weather, and you can tell us those things," Clay said. "You're going to anyway." "But what if I forget something important?" Starflight fretted. "Huh? You'd be more likable if you ever did forget anything," Glory said. "The only thing that's important is getting out of here right now," Tsunami said, "before Webbs and Dune wake up. And before Kestrel comes back," Glory added. "What thrilling news! Kestrel is part of this. I've been looking for an awfully long time." The 5 Dragonauts whirled around. Queen Scarlet was standing in the entranceway. Behind her, the tunnel was blocked by a row of skywings in different shades or flames, all of them large, all of them breathing small spurts of fire, and all of them angry, but none of them looked as angry as the Queen of the Skywings. Okay, we are gonna pause right there. Next time will be the end of part 1. Just to tell you guys, next time will be titled Part 1 Finish. See you guys later. Bye. By the way, this is Chapter 12 Finish. Bye. Johnny out. Peace.